So, my buddy Josh was a crazy, goofy weirdo who left this world way too soon. Josh was a friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. And though he was here for a very short amount of time, his impact on my life was completely immeasurable. Anyone that knew him knew he was special. He was funny, intelligent, kind, giving. He was always there for his friends. The first thing that ever really struck me about Josh was how giving he was. He was probably one of the most generous people I had ever known. I don't really remember meeting Josh. I just kind of have this first memory of him working on my car. I didn't ask him to. He was just there, working on it, with zip ties and wood, and somehow got it to work. I don't know how. I think he overheard me talking about how my car wasn't working. And he didn't ever ask for any kind of compensation. He was just there, willing to do it. Josh literally embodied the saying of, someone being willing to give the shirt off their back. He actually would take off the shoes he was wearing and gave them away. When the person would protest, he would say, "No, man, it's cool. I've got plenty of shoes." Josh didn't really have a lot of money. I don't think he had plenty of shoes. He was just giving. That's who he was. Josh had a lot of other wonderful qualities. He had the winning combination of being both smart and funny. Josh built a business for himself. And he did that all on his own. He figured out how to do it. And he did it by a skill he learned from watching YouTube videos. I don't know how one's brain works like that. I try watching YouTube videos over and over again, and I don't learn anything. He gets on there, and he learns how to fix speedometers out of cars. And he ran a business. He actually had people would mail them their speedometers from all over the nation. He would fix them and send them back. He was also funny and kind of shameless. A friend of mine, Chrissy, with her son Ben and Josh and I all went to the mall. And we went into the Macy's furniture store, and Josh decided that he wanted to get a mattress, but he also really wanted to weird out the sales associate. So with me and Chrissy sitting on the bed with the little 1-year-old, Josh walks up with a completely straight face to the sales associate and says, "Excuse me, sir, I need a mattress big enough to fit me and my wives." He didn't tell us what he was doing, so we had to jump into character right along with that. And he kept going, saying that the little 1-year-old Ben kicks in his sleep, so we needed a bed big enough to where we could give him enough space to do that. He just kept going with that joke. He was not shy. He was pretty goofy. Perhaps my favorite thing about Josh was how he was always there for people. And again, he wasn't one that you'd have to ask. He was just there. One day at one point, I fell on really hard times. I didn't have a phone or a way to contact anybody. I hadn't seen Josh in a while. But I find myself sitting outside of Atlanta Bread Company, and he just walks up, of all people, with his fiancée. I wasn't really living anywhere at that point. I had about one change of clothes. And he looked at me and he said, "How are you doing?" "No, I'm fine." Wasn't fine. And when I told him about what was going on, he just said, "Jody, do you need a job?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, show up at my office tomorrow at 10. Within 10 minutes, it was really obvious that Josh didn't actually need an employee. He just really wanted to help me. He also said, "Jody, do you need a place to live?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, I will make some calls." And then I had a place to live that night. He was that kind of person. He changed my life in less than an hour. Again, I didn't ask, and he didn't want anything in return. He just did that. Another time I was in the emergency room, and again, I didn't ask. Josh just showed up. He stayed with me. He made sure I got home okay. Of course, not before he hit on my nurse by drawing up a fake prescription on a piece of paper for one date with him. It didn't go over so well. She very kindly rejected him, but he took it in stride, just like he took everything in stride. That was who he was. That's how he acted. Josh was a great guy. He had demons, but when he was doing well, he was so good. He was kind and funny, generous, supportive. He was there for his friends, and he never wanted anything in return. Despite what I try to tell myself, I am not the all-master of the universe, and unfortunately, I don't get to make decisions about how long people stay in my life. Josh was one of those where I thought I would know him for the rest of my life, but I got it backwards. He knew me for the rest of his. I want more time for Josh than he got. Frankly, I believe he only had half the amount of time on this earth that he should have, but I don't get to choose that. I don't get to change that. But I do get to carry him with me, I get to embrace all of the changes he did in my life and embrace the person he helped me become. I get to be grateful for the impact he had on my life, and I know a lot of people are grateful for the impact he had on his. Some people live more in 34 years than others do in 84, and I believe Josh was one of those people. I know he lived life. I know he embraced it and had fun and was passionate and happy and excited. I knew he loved and received love. For that, for the fact that our paths had crossed, I'm grateful, and I always will be. Thank you.